The Perks of Being a Wallflower, PDF, pages 15 through 19. October 14th, 1991. Dear friend, do you know what masturbation is? I think you probably do because you're older than me. But just in case, I will tell you. Masturbation is when you rub your genitals until you have an orgasm. Wow. I thought that in those movies and television shows when they talk about having a coffee break, they should talk about having a masturbation break. But then again, I think this would decrease productivity. I'm only being cute here. I don't really mean it. I just want to make you smile. I meant the wow, though. I told Sam that I dreamt that she and I were naked on the sofa, and I started crying because I felt bad. And do you know what she did? She laughed. Not a mean laugh either. A really nice, warm laugh. And she said she thought I was being cute. And she said it was okay that I had a dream about her. And I stopped crying. Sam asked me if I thought she was pretty, and I told her I thought she was lovely. Then Sam looked me right in the eye. You know you're too young for me, Charlie. You do know that. Yes, I do. I don't want you to waste your time thinking about me that way. I won't. It was just a dream. Sam then gave me a hug, and it was strange because my family doesn't hug a lot, except my Aunt Helen. But after a few minutes, I could smell Sam's perfume, and I could feel her body against me, and I stepped back. Sam, I'm thinking about you that way. She just looked at me and shook her head. Then she put her arm around my shoulder and walked me down the hallway. We met Patrick outside because they don't like to go to class sometimes. They prefer to smoke. Charlie has a Charlie-esque crush on me, Patrick. He does, huh? I'm not trying not to, I offered, which just made them laugh. Patrick then asked me to leave, Patrick then asked Sam to leave, which she did, and he explained some things to me so I would know how to be around other girls and not waste my time thinking about Sam that way. Charlie, has anyone told you how it works? I don't think so. Well, there are rules you follow here. Not because you want to, but because you have to. You get it? I guess so. Okay. You take girls, for example. They're copying their moms and magazines and everything to know how to act around guys. I mean, it's not like in the movies where girls are assholes or anything like that. They just like somebody who can give them a purpose. Ooh. A purpose? Right. You know, girls like guys to be a challenge. It gives them some mold to fit in. How they act. Like a mom. What would a mom do if she couldn't fuss over you and make you clean your room? And what would you do without her fussing and making you do it? Everyone needs a mom, and a mom knows this. It gives her a sense of purpose. You get it? Yeah, I said, even though I didn't. But I got it enough to say yeah and not be lying, though. The thing is, some girls think they can actually change guys. And what's funny is that if they did actually change them, they'd get bored. They'd have no challenge left. You just have to give girls some time to think of a new way of doing things. That's all. Some of them will figure it out here, some later, some never. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I guess I did worry about it. I've been worrying about it ever since he told me. I look at people holding hands in the hallway and I try to think about how it all works. At the school dances, I sit in the background, I tap my toe, and I wonder how many couples will dance to their song. In the hallways, I see the girls wearing the guys' jackets, and I think about the idea of property. And I wonder if anyone is really happy. I hope they are. I really hope they are. Bill looked at me, looking at people, and after class, he asked me what I was thinking about, and I told him. He listened and nodded and made affirmation sounds. When I had finished, his face changed into a serious face. Do you always think this much, Charlie? Is that bad? I just wanted someone to tell me the truth. Not necessarily, it's just that sometimes people use thought not to participate in life. Is that bad? Yes. I think I participate, though. Don't you think I am? Well, are you dancing at these dances? I'm not a very good dancer. Are you going on dates? Well, I don't have a car, and even if I did, I can't drive because I'm 15 anyway, and I haven't met a girl I like except Sam, but I'm too young for her, and she would always have to drive, which I don't think is fair. Bill smiled and continued asking me questions. Slowly he got to problems at home, and I told him about the boy who makes mixtapes hitting my sister because my sister only told me not to tell Mom or Dad about it, so I figured I could tell Bill. He got this very serious look on his face after I told him, and he said something I don't think I'll forget this semester or ever. Charlie, We accept the love we think we deserve. I just stood there, quiet. Bill patted my shoulder and gave me a new book to read. He told me everything was going to be okay. I usually walk home from school because it makes me feel like I've earned it. What I mean is that I want to be able to tell my kids that I walked to school like my grandparents did in the old days. It's odd that I'm planning this, considering I've never had a date, but I guess that makes sense. It usually takes me an extra hour or so to walk as opposed to taking the bus, but it's worth it when the weather is nice and cool like it was today. When I finally got home, my sister was sitting on a chair. My mom and dad were standing in front of her, and I knew that Bill had called and told them, and I felt terrible. It was all my fault. My sister was crying. My mom was very, very quiet. My dad did all the talking. He said that my sister was not allowed to see the boy who hit her anymore, and he was going to have a talk with the boy's parents tonight. My sister then said it was all her fault and that she was provoking him. My dad said it was no excuse. But I love him. I've never seen my sister cry that much. No, you don't. I hate you. No, you don't. My dad can be very calm sometimes. He's my whole world. Don't ever say that about anyone again, not even me. That was my mom. My mom chooses her battles carefully, and I can tell you one thing about my family. When my mom does say something, she always gets her way, and this time was no exception. My sister stopped crying immediately. After that, my dad gave my sister a rare kiss on the forehead. Then he left the house, got in his Oldsmobile, and drove away. I think he was probably going to talk to the boy's parents, and I felt very sorry for them. Parents, I mean, because my dad doesn't lose fights. He just doesn't. My mom went in the kitchen to make my sister's favorite thing to eat, and my sister looked at me. I hate you. My sister said it different than the way she said it to my dad. She meant it with me. She really did. I love you, was all I could say in return. You're a freak, you know that? You've always been a freak. Everyone says so. They always have. I'm trying not to be. Then I turned around and walked into my room and closed my door and put my head under my pillow and let the quiet put things where they're supposed to be. By the way, I figured you're probably curious about my dad. Hey! Did he ever hit us when we were kids, or now even? I just thought you might be curious because Bill was, after I told him about that boy and my sister. Oh my God, sorry about that. Well, if you're wondering, he didn't. He never touched my brother or my sister, and the only time he ever slapped me was when I made my Aunt Helen cry. And once we all calmed down, he got on his knees in front of me and said that his stepdad hit him a lot, and he decided in college when my mom got pregnant with my older brother that he would never again hit his kids, and he felt terrible for doing it, and he was sorry, and he would never again hit me, and he wasn't. He's just stern sometimes. Love always, Charlie. October 15th, 1991. Dear friend, I guess I forgot to mention in my last letter that it was Patrick who told me about masturbation. I guess I also forgot to tell you about how often I do it now, and I try not to feel ashamed. I never think about Sam when I do it. Never. That's very important to me because I was happy when she said Charlie-esque, since it felt like an inside joke of sorts. One night I felt so guilty I promised God I would never do it again. So I started using blankets, but then the blankets hurt. So I started using pillows, but then the pillows hurt. So I went back to normal. I wasn't raised very religious, but my parents went to Catholic school. But I do believe in God very much. I just never gave God a name, if you know what I mean. I hope I haven't let him down regardless. Incidentally, my dad did have a serious talk with the boy's parents. My boy's mother was very angry and she screamed at her son. The boy's father kept quiet and my dad didn't get too personal with them. He didn't tell them they did a lousy job raising their son or anything. As far as he was concerned, the only important thing was getting their help to keep their son away from his daughter. Once that was settled, he left them to deal with their family and came home to deal with his. At least that's how he put it. The one thing I did ask my dad about was the boys' problems at home, whether or not he thought their parents hit their son. He told me to mind my own business because he didn't know and would never ask and didn't think it mattered. Not everyone has a sob story, Charlie, and even if they do, it's no excuse. That's all he said. And then he went to watch television. My sister is still mad at me, but my dad said I did the right thing. I hope that I did, but it's hard to tell sometimes. Love always, Charlie.